Okay, so today we are going to practice our math skills, but since we're outside, we're also going to get a little bit of exercise. We're going to go on a scavenger hunt, and we're going to look for certain things that we can find either in nature or we can find in our neighborhood that help us understand certain math terms and math concepts. Okay? So the first page that you have is blank, so that way you can take notes on what you find. Okay? Once you take notes, then you can transfer your notes onto the appropriate pages.
Okay.
All right, so I left that page blank on purpose. So we're going to look at a few vocabulary words that you'll need for this scavenger hunt. Okay? So the first word that you're going to need, and we'll come up with our own definition for each one of them, but I just want to make sure that you understand what each word means, okay?
Okay.
So when I say the word angle, what kind of a definition could you give me for the word angle?
Two lines that come together at their points.
Okay, we could use that. So write the word angle.
Do I have to use cursive?
No.
Okay.
And write the definition that you came up with.
Like when two lines come together.
You said when two lines come together at a point. Okay, so there are different types of angles that we're going to need to look for. The first angle that we will look for is a right angle. What is a right angle?
90 degrees.
A right angle is 90 degrees. So that's simply all you need to write down. So a right angle is 90 degrees. Do you know what an acute angle is?
Less than 90 degrees.
It's less than 90 degrees, that's right. So less than 90 degrees, you could say it's smaller. And when something is smaller, you could say, oh, it's cute. That's how you can remember what an acute angle is. Okay, so now that we have our definitions, so we understand the terms that we need, we are going to go on our scavenger hunt now. We are going to walk around the neighborhood, and we are going to look for things either in nature or look for things in our neighborhood that can help us express the mathematical terms that we talked about. Okay, so a few things that help us keep things safe is that we always keep our masks on, since right now we're shut down for COVID. Okay, we're not touching or handling other people's property or things. We definitely are not going into other houses. We don't go onto other people's properties. If we find anything in nature and we want to use it for one of our pages, we want to make sure that we leave no trace, right? Mm-hmm. We want to make sure that we put something back where we found it. We want to make sure that we don't take anything away from nature. And all we leave are footprints, okay? Okay, so the first page that we have is looking for angles. We're going to look for at least 2 examples of each type of angle. We are going to look for 2 examples of an acute angle, 2 examples of a right angle, and 2 examples of an obtuse angle. All right, so we are beginning our scavenger hunt. Ready, set, go. So whatever we find, we're going to make a simple sketch or draw a simple example of what we find, okay? So and obviously we're not measuring our angles. We don't have like a protractor or anything. So we're just eyeballing it. But a right angle is usually pretty easy to spot, right? So
And so is an acute.
an acute angle would be something
Or
like,
obtuse.
well, okay.
They're all easy.
So we'll look for one at a time, I guess. I already see an example of a right angle, but I want to see if you can see it first.
Not a right angle, but...
No, what did you find?
Oh, yeah, there is a right angle.
Oh, wow, look at that. Okay, so
Number 4.
there's a tree branch up there that shows a right angle. And again, we're not measuring it to make sure it's super exact. But that's a pretty good example of a right angle in nature. So now we are going to make a quick sketch and make sure you have room. Put it in your right angle box. We're looking at right angles.
I knew that.
So make sure you do just a small sketch because you have to do 2 examples. And we can clean it up later with a pen and with colored pencils if we want and all that stuff.
Ish.
Nice. Okay. All right, so let's see if we can find, are we just going to find another example of a right angle before we move on? Or do you want to just kind of grab whatever you find?
Angle.
And another right angle. Very good. So right there, the fence or wall, I guess it's more of a wall than a fence, it turns into a right angle. Okay, so we're going to sketch that as well.
That was crooked.
That's okay. No. Okay.
And then there's like this thing.
And
There's
you should also
the wall and
label your drawings because out of context, we might not know exactly what that is. Both of your right angles look very similar. Awesome. We have found 2 right angles. All right, so the last page that we're going to look at, where we actually have to find clues to help us with this scavenger hunt, is we're going to look at fractions, okay? And the way that this will work is you're going to write 2 fractional sentences about things that you see outside. So basically what that means is we're going to walk down the street, and an example, so you can't use my example, an example would be like, say we count 12 cars down the street, okay? And we notice that 3 of them are red cars, okay? So we would turn that into a fractional sentence saying 3/12 of the cars on this street are red.
1/4.
And then we would simplify the fraction and we would say 1/4 of the cars on this street are red cars. Make sense? Okay, so we're going to go down the street and see what we can find. It could be cars, it could be something in nature, it could be trees or bushes. It could be the color of the doors or windows on the houses. It could be
how many don't.
how many houses have stairs. Some of them have stairs and some of them don't. Okay. So if you're going to make a fractional sentence of something, what's the first thing you need to know about what you're looking at?
The total amount of things you are looking at.
That's right. You need to know the total amount of things first. So what's the first thing we're going to look for down the street? So maybe choose a thing, choose an item. And what are we going to count the total of?
Rose bushes.
Rose bushes. Okay, so we are going to walk down the street and count the number of rose bushes. Okay, so maybe keep tallies on, you can use that blank sheet of paper that was in the front of your packet. Okay, so write down rose bushes. All right, so now let's write a few categories and you're gonna make tallies. Okay, so yellow. What would you call that color? Would you say that that's orange or peach?
Kind of peaches.
Okay, peach. Let's do peach. And then let's say red, of course. Pink and white.
Isn't there? Oh, wait, no, that's not it.
Okay, so as we walk by each house, put a tally mark underneath the color of the rose bushes that you see.
Okay.
All right? So I don't
Okay.
see any there. Okay, so what do you see?
Is that like a rose tree?
Oh, that counts as a rose bush, yes. So we have one yellow and one peach. All right, so
That's kind of a pinkish red.
I would call both of those pink. So 2 pink.
Wait, that's purple.
Should we add another category for purple? Okay, so write purple. Okay, so that one's definitely red.
And then that would be like that peach color.
I think that's peach, yeah. And then I see pink again. So we can just keep light pink and hot pink in the same pinky category, I think. Okay.
You know what this reminds me of? That thing in Alice in Wonderland where the cards are painting the roses red.
Yep. That's true. Okay, so where did all the rose bushes go? I think that's a rose bush, isn't it?
What color is it supposed to be?
Dead. I think those used to be pink. It is still a rose bush, so we have to count it. All right. Where are we at so far? We've seen the most pink, I think. Oh, and dead? Okay, we're going to make a category for dead roses?
Yep.
Okay. All right. No rose bushes here. There's some across the street.
That's kind of on the other street though. Is that cheating?
I don't know. I mean, we're kind of walking down this way, and
It is facing that street.
that's fair. All right, we won't count it then. Are those rose bushes across the street?
I think they are.
Hold on. There's still more over here first. I see
Red.
I see red. And I think there's one more.
That's pink, right?
Yep.
And then let's go.
Oh, okay.
Just to make sure that there are rose bushes.
That is a white rose for sure.
Mhm.
So
First
now
one.
we have found white roses. And there's one final bush on this corner. One final rose bush.
Another white.
That's right. Okay, so how many total?
Isn't this the same street?
When we've reached the stop sign, I would say that we reached the end of the street.
Okay.
So, so how many total rose bushes did we see?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
So we saw 13 total rose bushes. And
And so
pick-
we won't be able to reduce that.
True. There's no way to reduce that. So pick one color of roses and give me a fractional sentence.
1/13 of the rose bushes we saw were dead.
I guess if you want to fixate on those, I thought we could go with a happier sentence, but that's up to you, I
They're
guess. Fine.
One second.
Okay, so you said 1/13 of the rose bushes on this street were dead.
Do you want me to write out like with letters 1/13?
No, write the number fraction.
Okay.
1/13. Okay, fine. So that is one fractional sentence. Okay, so we have found the items on our math scavenger hunt,
Outdoor math scavenger.
our outdoor math scavenger hunt. We are going to turn to the very last page of the packet, and it says, explain what you have learned while on this scavenger hunt that can help you in real life. Why should we need to know the different types of angles? Why should we understand symmetry or look for examples of symmetry? Why is it important that we can come up with fractional sentences of things? Why is geometry and measurement important for our daily life? Can you give me your answer verbally while you're writing, or?
Angles can help you if you want to be like an engineer or architect or something. And symmetry can help you like identify patterns in like stuff.
In stuff?
Or like if you want to be a teacher, then you need to know that stuff.
True. Need to be able to give examples of things. What if somebody's measurements were wrong and your brother's skateboard over there was not symmetrically built?
Then he could fall even more than he already does.
Then he could fall. So it could be a matter of safety even, right? It could be a matter of safety if something is not built properly with the right angles and the right symmetry on both sides. Then the thing could be unsafe to use.
And if he's like riding the skateboard and he falls in and someone's right next to him, then he could hurt more than just himself.
True. Other people could get hurt. So this last page, you are going to write a few sentences explaining why all of these terms that we found and we talked about today are important.